Hello, so this video that we're going to do today is for a new teacher using the Praxis site. So I've assumed you've made your account, you've logged on. Praxis Ed people have probably made you a school and got you assigned to that school. But when you log on right now, you don't really have anything. And so you have a screen here, and when you log on to the home, it says Teacher Section. And you don't have any classes. So the first thing that you want to do before you start talking to the students and having them get on the site is to make a new class. So here we can just start from right here. You can also do this over in the teacher section and then the classes, and then right now it just says you don't have any classes assigned to you, obviously. So you can create a new class. So we can do it from here also. If you go to create my new class, most likely your school, the institute, will be here. Now, if by chance you're watching this video and you don't have a school listed here, it won't let you make a class at all. In this case, you would just contact the Praxis Ed people, and they would get you set up with the school and everything so you can create the class. Okay, but odds are this is already set up, and you go to create my class. Now this first screen here just has some very basic information to get the class going very quickly, and it just uses a lot of our default stuff. But of course you might want your class to have some options that are not in our default system, and I'll show you also how to change those. But first we need to get the class name. So let's call your class name Example English Class. This ID number here is quite optional. When I use this for my own school, I usually don't set an ID number, but sometimes you'll have a situation. So if you look over here, you've got your English 101 classes, and maybe you have 3 different sections or 4 different sections of that. So here you just have your English 101, and here you can specify exactly what the ID number of this particular class is, if you need that option. Now the word list. So when you click the drop-down box, these are the lists that are available for your particular school. The core lists are available to everyone. They're one of our standard lists. The TOEIC lists are probably available to you too. They're open for almost all the teachers, and the Praxis University level lists. Now down here, you will see if there are any word lists that we have specifically tailored for your school, for your teaching context, and those should show up there. Now a lot of the teachers just use one of our standard lists, but if by chance you have been in communication with Praxis about a tailored list, this is where it'll show up. If it does not show up here, maybe contact the Praxis people, make your request for the tailored list, or say I've made this request but it's not coming out here. Usually when you make a request, we have it ready within a few days, depending on what you're requesting. So let's just say that in your case, you just want your students to do not a tailored list, just want them to do the TOEIC test. Vocabulary. Now the next part is the enrollment code, and this is a pretty important part. Now when your students register with Praxis, it will ask them if they belong to a particular teacher and if that teacher has an enrollment code. The enrollment code lets the program know that the students logging on belong to you, belong to this particular class, and then it gets them in. So let's just say for the enrollment code, we'll say English class 2014. Now you notice over here, your enrollment code has to have at least 6 letters and 4 digits. So it's a 10 character enrollment code. Could be more. In this case, I do have more. We do have you do the numbers as well, because at any particular semester, any particular time, just the very standard sort of codes quite often are not enough. Someone might, at a different university, might also have just English class here. So the combination of numbers and the letters makes sure that this is available for you. Now, of course, if you make the code and someone else happens to have that exact code, the system will let you know that, and you'll just have to choose a different enrollment code. Now we're going to save, even though we're going to come back and add more to this class depending on what you need. This is just a quick way to get the class up and running. At this point, the class is available. If a student logs on to the site, registers on the site, and enters your enrollment code, they are in. Everything is ready to go. Now, I'm going to go down here to edit class options because there are probably a few more changes that you want to make. Print information for the students, I'm going to talk about that in a moment. So let's go to edit class options. Just a few of the ones that usually people want to change. The grading date here. This is, if you assign this vocabulary as homework for your students, this is the last day that you will accept work on the site. So it's sort of like their deadline to get all the sessions, all the work done on the site. And so in this case, the default here maybe doesn't quite work for me. My semester ends about the 20th, so I'm just going to change that to the 20th. And that lets the students know this is the last day they have to get in a session. Class goals. Now, quite often, a teacher using this site with her students will let the students know that over the semester, you need to finish X number of vocabulary practice sessions. Now we have here 50 for this particular time period. This would be about 5 per week. Students using the site about 5 times per week, 5 sessions per week. Let's say I'm going to go a little bit easier on them. Now it's 45 sessions. And this would be about 4 sessions a week, depending on how long your semester is. Enrollment code you've already made. I'm not going to have to change that. Enrollment list limit, just in case you only want X number of students using your class. I would say in most cases you don't have to worry about that. Just the number of students in your class, the number of students that you want to get on. Now the word list, if you want to make some changes to that, but you probably already selected that, you're okay. Let's talk about the coerce word list and the lock word list functions here. Now, coerce word list just means, if you select yes, which is the default, that when the students registered for your site, that they will automatically be put on the list that you selected for them. And that's what right now you have the Praxis TOEIC Level 1 list. Now, if you want the students to select their own list, so you want to kind of force them to take a look at the available lists and choose what they want to study, the university list, the TOEIC list, the basic core list, then you would put no here. This would mean when the students log on, they would immediately be prompted to choose the list that they want to study. So this is an option for teachers who want students to think about what they want to study and select their own list that they want to study, and gives them freedom to choose that. Some teachers like that. Some teachers say, well, this is a TOEIC class, or this is something important for our program, and so we want you to go here. That's what the coerce word list is about. The lock word list, if you have it set to no, which is the default, lock word list means not only are they put on the default list, but they're unable to change it if you have it locked. So it's not an option for them at all to go in and change their list. If it's set at no, which is our default, that means even though they are automatically placed on a certain list that you have, if that list is not locked, the student at any time can go to her settings and change the word list to something else that she wants. Now, we have the default like this because in most cases, teachers do have a list that they think most of the students will be appropriate for. And This just makes it easier for the students. They log on, they have a list that is probably right for them that the teacher knows, and they just start studying it. But later on, the students might realize these words are quite hard for me, or these words are way too easy for me, or I'm not really interested in the TOEIC list. I just want to do the university words or whatever. And then the student at any time is free to go and change the list to study what she wants to study. Now, teachers who really want to control what the students are doing, because that matches what they have, they would just coerce it and then lock it. Students will study what the teacher says they need to be studying. If you put no on that, then the students are free to change that list at any time during the semester. So those are just some options that you have. The bonus session here, I'll talk about in a different video. But basically the bonus session is only for students who have used Praxis before and are coming again. And so the site remembers them from last semester, continues to have them work with the vocabulary from the previous semester, and now they have some new things. Now in most cases you're a new teacher here, so this is really not appropriate for this particular video. Just don't need to worry about it. These other things you won't see because you're not special like I am. Okay, once you have made everything, you save it. Now it's all ready to go. The class is set up exactly how you want. This print information for students is a very useful feature. You need to let the students know where is the Praxis website, when they register for it, what is the enrollment code, and so on. So you might find it helpful just to go to the print information. And here is what will show up. It has it in English. It lets them know this is the website they need to go to. It shows them how to sign up. Click on I'm a student using Praxis for a class. So they're not using the site independently, they're using it for your class. It automatically puts in your enrollment code that you just selected, and then gives them a little bit of information about how to get going on the site. Just very briefly, we find that if students have this handout, you print this out, you make it into a handout. We purposely left it quite short so you could maybe get 2 of these onto one paper so you don't have to print so many copies of it. One copy will give you 2 students or maybe even 3 students, and just cut it up and get it to the students. We find that by giving this to the students, they have something to take home, and 90%, 95% of the students, this information is enough. They get it and they're off running. A few days later, when you log onto the site, you'll see almost all of your students in your class, on your register, and even already studying. So we recommend that as well. Okay, so that's basically how you get up and running. The next video, I want to talk more about in detail how you can follow your students' progress, find out if some people are having some trouble, some kind of red flags that indicates maybe you need to talk to a student or change something. But otherwise, what we talked about today, you're good. The students are ready to go.